Jags favored by 7 against the Titans. Jags coming off of thrashing at the hands of the 49ers.
Thrashing.
Yeah. Titans got beat up pretty bad themselves against the Bucs last week, 20-6. So Jags by 7. Will Levis's 4th NFL start here. Remember, he threw 4 touchdowns in his debut against the Atlanta Falcons and has not been nearly as good since. I thought he was encouraging against the Steelers on Thursday Night Football and then had, threw the ball to the defense about 4 times in the fourth quarter. But the last, say, 5 quarters of play from Will Levis have not been great.
No, they haven't. I still think there have been encouraging signs there, but I think the problem is that offensive line is miserable. It has the worst PFF pass blocking efficiency in the NFL. Like, it's dead last. It's worse than the Jets. It's worse than the Giants. It's worse than the Panthers. The Titans are still bottom of that metric. And that's like, there's only so much you can do. I think Will Levis actually displayed some pretty useful movement within the pocket, some ability to play under pressure, but that line is giving up so much pressure that it's in the category of this isn't workable, really.
It could be a challenging week, though. We're talking about, look, I know the Jags got thrashed last week. The pass defense did not look good. They've had a pretty good season in the back 7. I was hyping up their linebackers last week and how well they had played in coverage, run defense, but their linebackers have played well. Their corners, Darius Williams, Tyson Campbell, Andre Sisco's been a ball hawk. The back 7 has been very good in Jacksonville, despite, last week's game. And then you have Will Levis with his 6 turnover-worthy plays over the last 2 weeks. It's just a challenging week to get back on track here.
Yeah, I think it is. I mean, I think the Jags, the bottom line is, do the Jags have a good enough pass defense and pass rush to cause real problems for that Tennessee offensive line? I think the answer is unquestionably yes. Josh Allen on his own is probably going to be an issue in the game. I think this is the sort of game where Trayvon Walker can have an impact. They have enough bodies up front to make that a problem. Will Levis is currently under pressure this season, 46.6% of his dropbacks. That's not all on the offensive line, but it's the number that's important. We should actually find a data-driven tipping point to this. I always use the number 45. If the number of
percent,
the number of if their percentage of dropbacks that you are under pressure in is more than 45% over a long period of time, you are in trouble, right? That's the number I'm using arbitrarily as anecdotally. That seems to be a pretty good benchmark of when you're screwed. So Levis at 46.6% this year, he's in trouble. The offensive line is just too bad for that to function. Tommy DeVito right now, 47.4%. So, I think that's the single biggest factor in this game is he's probably going to be under too much pressure to be good.
On the other side, Josh Allen's having a Pro Bowl caliber year. I don't know. Really good year. I hate the Pro Bowl. We hate the Pro Bowl here.
We hate the Pro Bowl.
Almost all pro year. Josh Allen would be talked about as one of the best edge defenders in the league if, there weren't 4 Hall of Fame caliber edges, 4 or 5 Hall of Fame caliber edges there, right? Allen's having a great year.
He's having a year where there have been seasons in PFF's history where the year he's having right now would be the best year of any edge rusher.
Yeah.
Having said that, the season that it currently is, it's ranked 9th in terms of total.
You've got Garrett and Bosa and Watt and Micah and everybody. There's a lot of guys. So Josh Allen against Andre Dillard at left tackle.
Yikes.
And it's another game, Chris Hubbard's at right tackle where Trayvon Walker, he still has those games where he'll grab 4 or 5 pressures. And we talked last week, we complimented him on Monday morning in the loss, showing his power. These are one of those games you need Trayvon Walker to step up. Hey, take advantage of this bad offensive line. They kick him inside over the guard and put him out there. He'll line up against Peter Skoronski here and there. Mm-hmm. By the way, really quick, you asked the other day about moving Peter Skoronski to tackle.
Right.
And I did look it up recently. The Bucs right tackle, Luke Goedeke, who started his career at guard last year, I forgot that his arm length was 32 and a quarter. Mm-hmm. And he's playing tackle, and he's doing it at high level. Injured this week, might not play, but Goedeke's grading really well at right tackle, was a very good right tackle at Central Michigan. So my answer is yes. Officially, yes. Move Skoronski to left tackle because Goedeke has shown that he can do it. Mm-hmm. Or Goedeke, whatever it is.
Yeah, there are examples. We've been through this before. There are examples of guys with arms that short succeeding. So give him a shot.
Yes.
Just been referred to as a bald elf in the chat. I think that's a little harsh.
Well, Change your shirt. Maybe that'll help.
How does that
don't
affect
know.
being bald or an elf?
Now, if you're wearing green, maybe that would.
Well,
Anyway,
that would make me more of an elf.
I know.
I think the elf thing is a height thing, which is just it's a perspective problem.
It's my fault.
It's your fault.
Yeah,
right?
we need to move you a little closer.
Closer to the camera.
Yeah.
Or just have one of those.
You're our Kyler Murray.
You know I'm taller than
You're
Kyler
our
Murray.
Kyler Murray. We need to make perspective changes for you the same way the Cardinals photo op team has to do the same for Kyler.
This is the problem. I am taller than Kyler Murray. I need one of those, the mugshot things where you have the height behind you. We just need a chart on the wall next to me.
I'm just your Wemby.
Here, I'll shuffle this way now.
Well, you look way bigger.
Way bigger. See? Easy.
Oh, I don't like that.
I can fix this whole perspective thing. Not a problem.
No. There we go. Just raise my seat a little bit. That's the other thing too. You can sitting on a phone book. Does anybody know what a phone book is?
No.
One last thing I just want to highlight here. First off, Levis, he's got to find that balance of completely relying on DeAndre Hopkins and also making sure he's relying on him enough.
Right.
Hopkins, he should be getting his 10 to 15 targets a game. But we've also seen.
Oh, I just ruined the shot.
We ruined all the shot. We ruined all the solo cams. Sorry, Eli, making you work harder here, man. Now we don't get Sam.
Yeah.
We've seen quarterbacks get better when they lose their star receivers, but more often than not, we see quarterback production go up when they have their star receiver. Thank you. How's that headroom? So he's got to find that balance. The other part is, I remember a couple weeks ago I said, Matthew Stafford's playing well, but I didn't realize his stats are terrible. Trevor Lawrence is in that category now. Now, he's coming off a bad game. He was not very good on Sunday. But Trevor Lawrence have you seen his stats?
No. What are we doing? What? Hit me.
9 touchdowns, 6 picks. He's getting 9 touchdowns halfway through the season.
That's not great.
89.4 passer rating, 7.1 yards per attempt. But he's got an 80 passing grade. Again, we're watching the film. We're looking at the grades. He's got a big-time throw rate of 5.3%. So he's got, you've done this before, right? When you have 17 big-time throws, but only 9 touchdowns.
Right.
The big-time throws, it's not always a 1-to-1 ratio, but it's like a better proxy for getting into the end zone usually over time. And it just doesn't match up.
Well, he had that crazy run, where his receivers were letting him down week on week. Right. Which game was it where he put the ball in the end zone in
Kansas
a receiver's
City.
hands 4 times, and none of them were scores?
Week 2.
Yeah. So, like that, he had 5 big-time throws in that game alone and 0 touchdowns.
Yeah.
Like 11.6 big-time throw rate in that game and 0 touchdowns, 5.3 yards per attempt. So he had a run where his numbers were wildly let down by his own receivers. Now, he's also just coming off a bad game. Like, he didn't play well against the 49ers. Nobody did. But generally over the season, I think he's played much better than those stats.
Yeah, I agree. But even going before last week, you could say, man, he only has 9 touchdowns, right? He only had 9 touchdowns halfway through the season, and now we're a little beyond halfway. Just something to keep an eye on here. That we thought that the receiving core would be better. We thought Calvin Ridley would be a little bit more effective. The Jags need to just be more productive, I think, in their passing attack, week to week here. Jags by 7, though, and the Jags continue to be that team. Tough to figure out when they're not going to show up, but I still think they're really good. I think they'll. Where are you going to go? I keep answering first.
You do. People are saying that's why you're worse than me, and the picks.
Because I go first.
Because you go first.
No, I almost always defer to you first. Someone also suggested that I benched Harry because his picks were better than us. That is an ego-driven thing.
I wouldn't. I think that would be great.
Talked to my wife. I said, "Listen, the kid's beating me in picks.
Kid's kicking my ass. I'm gonna have to sit him down for a couple of weeks."
He's been taking his football banning by following the NBA in college basketball now.
Oh no!
I think you're missing.
You just ruined the child.
You're getting too obsessed with sports, kid. We're trying to taper it down a little bit.
This is just the unintended consequences.
Yeah.
You think you're like, I'm going to take away the thing he loves, and instead you're going to push him towards basketball, which for him might be a better thing anyway.
Yeah.
Given that he's going to be 9 foot tall.
Yeah, I know. NBA expert now.
All right, Jacksonville, 7-point favorite. I'm going to go Tennessee.
You're going Tennessee?
Yep.
You're still believing in Will Levis?
Not really, but
our friend Pete Prisco is going to be torn here as a Jags guy.
Yeah.
And a Will Levis guy.
Oh, he's a Levis guy.
Big Levis guy.
Yeah.
He is. Pete's pretty predictable with the quarterbacks he's going to like every year. Hackenberg.
Yeah.
Josh Allen. Will Levis. God. Give me the
I mean, all of us
Give me
have
the looks the part, big arm guy.
all of us have our misses when it comes to the draft. I'm just thankful that one of my misses wasn't Hackenberg.
Oh, we're going back to Hackenberg.
You know, you brought him up. I'm just saying.
All right, we gotta get through the show.
I would be upset if that was one of my misses.
Got to get through the show.